Hey everybody, it's Christina, and I am here to walk you through the heart of leadership. I'm really excited about this. You'll be able to get a quiz at the end of this from my website that helps you determine how you are doing with your heart health when it comes to heart of a leader. So let's jump into our slides and we'll get started. All right, so welcome everybody. This is for my She Empowered Collective and Unconditional Leadership groups. I am so excited to present today on the heart of a leader or the heart of leadership and what those characteristics are: honest, encouraging, accountable, relational, and transparent. Now, in today's world, leadership is not about just holding a title. It is also not just about making people go toward a goal. Yes, leadership comes from within, it comes from the heart. When we look at the core of impactful and meaningful leadership, certain qualities stand out for us. So, we're going to break those down and we're going to look at what it means to lead from the heart and how these principles can transform not only your leadership style, but also the people around you. So remember, if you lead unconditionally from the heart, you will be successful in all of your endeavors. First up, we've got the H, which is honesty. Honesty is foundational to any leader's credibility. Being honest is not simply about telling the truth. It's about being genuine and authentic in your intentions, acknowledging your own limitations, and staying true to your values, even when that is challenging. I don't know about you all, but I've run into some times where leading and staying true with my values can be challenging. A leader who is honest really fosters a culture where people feel safe. They can speak up, they can share their ideas, and most importantly, they can make mistakes without fear of retribution or retaliation. When team members see that their leader values truth over appearance, they'll be inspired to act with integrity as well. So you may think about, how can I lead with honesty? Well, you can be clear in your expectations. You can own up to your mistakes when you make those. You can provide feedback that's rooted in compassion and comes from a place of care. Authenticity resonates and it allows others to show up genuinely. That builds a foundation of trust. So, leading with honesty, if you're authentic, that's going to help your people, that's going to help your team to act in integrity and to also lead themselves and lead their teams with genuine, authentic trust. Next is encouraging. Who doesn't love a good dose of encouragement? Leaders who encourage their teams create an environment where their people feel seen, they feel heard, and they feel capable. It's not just about cheering people on, it's about empowering them to see and to believe in their own potential. Encouragement shows people that they belong and that their efforts matter to the team. So, how to lead with encouragement? Well, take time to celebrate those small wins and recognize people's individual contributions. You could offer support during times of challenge. A simple text or a call, even a tiny handwritten card, really goes a long way here. The smallest words of encouragement can often make the biggest difference to people. So think about how you can encourage as you are working on your leadership journey. Next, we come to one of my favorites, accountability. Are you accountable as a leader? Do you hold yourself accountable? Now, accountability, in my opinion, is the foundation of an unconditional leader. A leader who is accountable holds themselves accountable first. By demonstrating self accountability, leaders can teach their teams that everyone is responsible for the outcomes they contribute and that no one is above the mission. I can remember back in the day when I worked for a chef in a country club environment. This is when I wanted to go to culinary school and be a chef. I wanted to be a famous television chef in my young years. But I can remember the chef that I worked with. He had graduated from the Cordon Bleu in France, and he was no joke, in the kitchen. But he also held himself to a very high standard and held himself accountable to that standard. And he held us to that same standard also. So Chef Kevin never expected us to do something that he hadn't done or that he wouldn't do. I just remember him always saying, I expect everybody to be at least beside me. And I just love that accountability of he held himself to a high standard, and that made us want to hold ourselves to a higher standard. So think about how you can lead with accountability. One way that you can do this is to establish really clear goals and to hold regular check-ins to make sure that people understand where they're going, to make sure they have the support they needed, and to make sure that they're making progress in an adequate manner. You don't want to get to the end of a goal time frame and realize, oh, oops, they didn't understand the mission. It's also really important to be consistent in recognizing efforts and addressing gaps without playing favorites. Show that you take responsibility for your own actions, especially when things do not go as planned. Then you can encourage the same in your team. Next up, we're going to talk about the R in the heart of leadership, and that's all about relationships, being relational to your team. Cultivating and maintaining relationships is also at the heart of being an unconditional leader. Leaders who invest time in building connections, what happens is they foster loyalty, morale is improved, and there's an environment kind of organically created where people care for one another. When they see the leader care, then they care. Relational leaders know that people are more than their roles. They're more than just a piece of the puzzle, a cog in the wheel. They're individuals with aspirations, with goals, with dreams, with concerns, with strengths, and with opportunities for growth. So, how can you be a relational leader? First, take time to listen, observe, ask questions, and get to know your team on a personal level as far as they're comfortable with, right? Don't go digging into their personal business because you're their boss, you're the manager, you're their leader, but get to know them on a personal level. What do they like? What do they do in their off time? Those things. And as trust grows, information sharing will grow. That's a really important thing to remember as a relational leader is as you build trust, people will share more of themselves, of their passions, of their fears. So, but you must be genuine here. So make the effort to build those genuine and authentic relationships. So, how to lead relationally? Well, like we talked about, ask those questions, get to know your people, show interest in their lives. And when people feel understood and appreciated, they're more engaged. They're going to go the extra mile for themselves, for the team, for the customer, and for you, their leader. Next, we come to the T in the heart of leadership. And that, my friends, is about transparent, being transparent or transparency. Being transparent builds trust and it removes the barrier between leaders and team members. It eliminates that us versus them mentality that many teams have, especially in our post-pandemic world. There's a big us versus them. And transparency or being a transparent leader can help mitigate some of that. Transparent leaders openly share information. They make clear their decision-making process. They share what their process was to come to the decision. And they communicate openly about changes and challenges. Did you hear what I said there? They communicate openly about changes and challenges. When leaders are transparent, they actually empower their teams with knowledge. They create clarity and they establish a very strong foundation of trust. So, how do you lead with transparency? Well, first, be open with your team. Give insight into why you made decisions, how you went through the process. Ensure that your communication is straightforward. So, no beating around the bush, no avoiding the hard conversations or difficult topics, none of that. Be very straightforward in your communication. Say what you mean, but don't say it mean, as my grandma used to say. And then make sure your communication is inclusive. Is everyone at the table that needs to be at the table? Is everyone that needs the information getting the information from you, not from the grapevine, not from the gossip channels, but are they getting the information from you, the leader? Because if they're not getting it from you, friend, they're getting it from somewhere. And the worst case scenario is they're making it up in their mind. So straightforward, clear communication. Also, make sure you share the why behind your processes and your policies so that everyone understands the larger context and they feel part of the journey. So, we've talked about a lot when it comes to this leading with the heart um, and the heart of leadership. This heart model of leadership is just a reminder that leadership is not just a function, it's a relationship that is built on our common human values. Leaders who embody these qualities create an atmosphere of trust, respect, and unity where people feel like they belong, they feel like they're valued, and they feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves. When we lead with heart, we create an environment where people thrive, not only as individuals, but as part of a connected team. In that kind of environment, everyone is empowered to bring their very best to the table. They create a ripple impact far beyond the immediate outcomes and goals of the team. So think about, how are you being honest? How are you being encouraging? How are you holding yourself accountable so that you can hold others accountable with integrity? How could you improve your relational abilities with your team or with the people in your circle? How transparent are you really? Are you courageous enough to tell the why behind your decisions? Are you courageous enough to have straightforward conversations that are also inclusive? Folks, that is the information about the heart of leadership. Thanks for joining us in this today. I've got my YouTube channel here. You're welcome to come and subscribe, like this video if you like this video. You can also go onto my website, christinawooten.com, and there will be a place for you to take a Heart of Leadership quiz. You can get that as a free download. You can check out, how am I doing on these Heart of Leadership characteristics and qualities and traits. After you do that quiz, if you're interested, you can set up a test drive coaching call for free. So anyone that has that link is welcome to set up a test drive call. And if you want to talk about your Heart of Leadership quiz results on that call, we can do that. If you want to talk about another topic, we can do that as well. Thank you all for your attention today. I send you so much love. I send you so much care. And I hope that wherever you are in the world, I hope that you are doing the work intentionally to lead well, because everyone deserves to be led well. Folks, have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next chat.